with a really all-star cast today, including our Secretary of Commerce, Alex Kelly, our Bay County Sheriff, Tommy Ford. I know we have Chuck Perdue, tax collector here. We have members of the Bay County Commission, Gulf County Commission, Northwest Florida Beaches International Airport, Gulf Coast State College President Glenn McDonald, as well as people from the city of Port St. Joe. Now, normally, if I bring together people like that, it means I'm handing out goodies. I usually don't come without doing it. We actually had some goodies. We made a stop on the way here at Dandy Donuts, and because we profile, I used to profile these folks, local establishments. I just put it on like social media, and I just put the address, and people, they generated interest. And so what we do now is we do little like 2-minute videos, and we call it Diners, Drive-Ins, and DeSantis. And so we've been able to go to different parts around Florida, and all these places are very, very good, but all basically, family restaurants or establishments, and so we were able to do Dandy. It was really good. I thought back, my first time going there was probably my first year as governor, so however many years ago, and so I bring back these donuts. Our kids were we only had 2 at the time. We didn't have the 3rd yet. Very young at the time, probably 3 and 1.5, maybe 3 and 2, something like that. And so you bring back these, these are pretty impressive donuts, and my kids, they would just eat the frosting only. They didn't actually, I try to tell them, guys, you got to eat the donut. Well, now they eat the donut, so I'm bringing some back, so we'll see how that goes. I think all the sugar, though, the First Lady's not going to be too happy tonight with how they behave, but we'll see what happens, and, it's always better to, beg for forgiveness and ask for permission sometimes. And so we'll see how that goes tonight when we go home. I also want to thank, I know we've got folks that are in Tallahassee now, Senator Trumbull, also Representative Griffiths, who's actually doing very important piece of legislation to prevent in the state of Florida what we've seen happening in these others. They come in, and these big tech companies are building these massive data centers that take up as much power as a city of 500,000 people. Well, guess what? Supply and demand. Do you think your electricity rates go up when that happens? Yes, it does. So this would block that, basically. No ratepayer should have to pay 1 red cent because of big tech. And we'll be one of the first states to do it. And, you may not be dealing with that right now, but I tell you, they're coming for a lot of these communities. And I think that's going to be the protection that's going to be what people need. So he's led the charge on that. I know they're also doing it in the Senate, but I think it's really, really important. Over the last 5 or 6 years, groceries, all this stuff going, do we really want to say that you're going to share with this massive data center and somehow that supply and demand, right? Unless you increase supply tremendously, the demand increase is going to cause price to go up, and we don't want to do that. I think they should pay their own way, and I think they should produce their own power. It shouldn't have to fall on the wallets of the people who are just going about living their lives, particularly here in Northwest Florida. So I think that's something that has gotten a lot of momentum and a lot of steam, and I'm obviously very supportive of offering that protection to our Florida ratepayers. We also are celebrating Florida's 180th birthday today. As a state, we've been around since the 1840s. I think most people know the history pre-statehood. You go back to the time of like James Monroe when he was Secretary of State, and Andrew Jackson and all this stuff, but became a state in the 1840s. And I always like to point this out. If you go from that statehood all the way till the present, and you added up all the debt that the state of Florida has incurred as a state, just since I've been governor, we've retired over half of it in my tenure. And so that's something that we're happy about. And so we're showing that it can be done. We have paid down that debt, which is great. We've also maintained a very lean government. We have the lowest number of state government employees per capita in the entire United States of America. And so that's what you should be doing, right? Doing it with a small footprint. And yet we're doing a lot of big things. I mean, we're leading the country on enforcing laws alongside the feds against illegal immigration. You look at what we're doing on things like transportation and infrastructure, accelerating massive numbers of projects. Some of these projects weren't even supposed to start until next decade. We've been able to get those accelerated. We're going to end up delivering a bunch of projects 5 or 10, even 15 years ahead of schedule. That required investments. You look at what we've done on environmental restoration. We've done stuff in the Panhandle. We've done Springs. We've done Everglades in South Florida. One thing after another, these have been really, really big investments. You look at what we've done on education. We did $1.38 billion just for teacher salaries, which was the most we've ever done in the history of the state. We did that in current year. We're trying to do more coming up for next year's budget. So on and on, we're able to do things, but while reducing debt, while reducing taxes. I mean, we're at the point now, we have no state income tax. We've excluded sales tax from disaster items, groceries, medicine, baby items, back to school. I mean, you name it, we've done it on that. We eliminated the commercial rent tax. We were the only state that had that tax. Wasn't good for the economy. We eliminated that entirely. And so all these different things is great. Still running surpluses. We've more than tripled the state's rainy day fund from the time that I was governor, and all this stuff is great. We had an economy a little over $1 trillion when I got in. Now our economy is $1.85 trillion, so it's up over 70% in the last 7 years. These are all great things. Now, one thing we want to help people with, and it's not something that we do at the state level in terms of the revenue, is the property tax. And we have a great opportunity to be able to do something historic then. We're going to be working on that throughout the balance of the year, and it can be on the ballot in November of 2026 is the earliest that people are going to be able to vote on it. And it's something, because of the way these taxing authorities are under the Constitution, it's not something you can just do by legislation by and large. So that's why you have to go to the ballot. So we're going to be doing that to be able to give people relief. So there's a lot of irons in the fire there. But from a state perspective, we've done things right. Now, one of the things that we've done is support infrastructure development, support workforce programs, particularly for some of our more rural areas throughout the state. And we've done that for a number of different ways. We have our Job Growth Grant Fund, which we're going to talk about today, where we're able people can apply, they go through the Department of Commerce, and then we pick what projects would be the most valuable. A lot of times a county is putting up money or a city's putting up money to match, and then we kind of go in holding hands together and try to create something special. If it's an infrastructure project, same thing with workforce training. We also have the Rural Infrastructure Fund where we've supported infrastructure for rural communities, and we've done that very, very strongly. We've done other things with workforce, even apart from Job Growth Grant Fund. When I became governor in 2019, we said, okay, by 2030, we want to be #1 in workforce education in the country, because, it's like these colleges, like we have good colleges in this country. We have a lot of poor colleges that aren't worth the money they're charging. Now, in Florida, as a state resident, we haven't allowed them to raise tuition since I've been governor. So we have the lowest in-state tuition in the country, $6,300 on average for a Florida resident. I mean, you can't beat that anywhere else. But, these private colleges, a lot of them charge a lot. A lot of them aren't necessarily delivering a lot of value. Like MIT, fine, they will. But there's colleges nobody's even heard of that charge $70,000 a year. It's like, that piece of paper is not magic. You're either learning things that are going to make a difference, or you're just getting a piece of paper. And some of these students go deep into debt, and they end up in jobs they could have had out of high school. So what good is that to go into debt for that? So we've said, we're going to continue with our universities. They've gotten even better. It's a great opportunity. It's a great pathway for a lot of people. We want to encourage people to do that. But workforce training, vocational training, huge opportunities for young people especially. And so we wanted to put an emphasis on that. And the result was we didn't do it in 2030. we did it in 2025 to be #1 in workforce education. And so that's 5 years ahead of schedule that we were able to get that done, and that's making a huge difference in the lives of so many different people. So we're able to do a lot with this, and that kind of brings us here today because the commitment is ongoing. We know that these projects can make a big difference for the local economies, and we want to keep the momentum moving forward. So I'm happy to announce today that we're going to be parceling out more than $13 million through Florida's Job Growth Grant Fund. We are awarding $5 million to the Panama City Bay County Airport and Industrial District to construct an aircraft engine repair station and an engine testing facility at Northwest Florida Beaches International Airport. It's a really good airport. I mean, I really like it, and I know there's a lot more routes going into that airport than there was, however many years ago, and I think there's going to continue to be more, probably from most of the major cities, Midwest and the Northeast. You probably can get direct, or I know a lot of them you can get direct now. When they open up that golf thing north of the airport, people are going to come for that. You guys just be prepared. It's pretty incredible land. Those guys know what they're doing, and that's going to be a huge draw for people, and you're going to see like an assembly line of people flying down into that airport, driving 30 minutes up, be there for a couple, 2-3 days, and then fly back. And the routes, you're going to see a lot of traffic. So I don't know when that's opening, but I've seen enough about it to know it's going to be very successful. So what we're going to do at the airport is going to be a new 160,000 square foot facility. It'll include 120,000 square foot engine repair space, and the remaining facility space will house the testing operations, and is projected to create up to 400 new technician jobs in Bay County. So I'm excited for that. I know the people at the airport are very excited about it in the county. We're also awarding $6 million to the Gulf County Commission to support the construction of a self-docking float dry dock at Shipyard through a set of mooring dolphins. So Eastern Shipbuilding has 125 jobs at the shipyard that will be retained as a part of this improvement, and the project is projected to create an additional 337 jobs. Additionally, we're awarding more than $2 million to the City of Port St. Joe to fund a 2-phase road project that will allow the construction of 177 workforce homes. The project includes resurfacing an already existing road, along with constructing a new 1,300 linear foot connector road and the hardening of utilities underground to protect against potential hurricane winds. This project is projected to bring in 190 jobs to the communities. So these investments are targeting key industries like aviation and aerospace, as well as maritime, and we're making sure that we're able to fund critical infrastructure expansion that's going to continue to not only support the economy, but also the workforce. So today's awards bring the total amount awarded through our Job Growth Grant Fund since 2019 to more than $318 million. The program has facilitated the creation of 42,000 jobs and more than 32,000 new workforce education opportunities. And so this is exciting. All of these things have been very well thought out. They've been great proposals, and we're happy to have supported these through the year. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the check presentations, and then we'll hear from some of our other speakers. So first we'll bring up Panama City Airport. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy. You guys keep up the good work. City of Port St. Joe. All right, congratulations. Yep. Gulf County. Okay, now we'll hear from our Commerce Secretary, Alex Kelly.
Well, Governor, thank you so much, and thank you all for being here today. First, let me say, Governor, thank you for your leadership and your direction, your focus on these grants. Like you said, Florida turned its homework in early. We're #1 in workforce in the entire country, 5 years early, and that's because of a disciplined focus on building great talent pipelines, working with communities around the state, and really, like we're doing today, too, working for the infrastructure that supports a welcoming environment for those great jobs as well. So, Governor, thank you so much. I want to give some thanks, too, to some of the key partners here in the room who, in terms of working with the communities here and really kind of developing the strategy behind these grants, so critical to thank folks like Becca Harden from the Bay County EDA, Jennifer Conley from Florida's Great Northwest, Parker McClellan from the airport, Jim McKnight. Jim, I saw you right there, and Richard Williams, I think you're somewhere. There you are in the back from Opportunity Florida, and there's so many others. The fine details of these really reflect your ideas and working with you to merge these ideas with the great strategy from the governor, from the state, and so really appreciate it. And I just want to illuminate just a little bit on some of those strategy points. Governor, you mentioned, Florida's Great Northwest is really excelling in aerospace, aviation, maritime industries, defense industries, and a big part of that is a deliberate focus on the other details that make those industries work. Thinking about the investment here at the airport, it's about MRO, it's about engine systems and working to support those aviation companies that now call Panama City and Bay County home. Thinking about the investment at the port in Port St. Joe, it's about dry dock repair. It's about supporting those shipbuilders and supporting the maintenance required to support the maritime industry. So it's really strategic investments. And then the third investment is really about getting the workforce to those great job sites. And so all of these are very strategic to really make sure that as we bring in great industry, bring in great jobs, support our citizens, we also have those key underpinnings that make sure that we can really keep those industries here for a long, long time. So again, Governor, thank you so much for your leadership in this regard, and really thanks so many of you for your partnership in developing these great grants. And again, just thank you for everybody being here today. Thank you.
All right, Mark Sheldon.
I want to echo the words. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for your leadership and for always looking out for our community. You mentioned earlier it's Christmas in March, and we love Christmas in March. Throughout your years of service, you've proven how government can be an instrument and truly improve the lives of a community. I want to thank the team at IAG. I'm really excited for those folks. Florida's Great Northwest, Bay County EDA, Triumph Gulf Coast, and everyone who works at the Airport Authority for this hard work and dedication to bringing this project to our community, and for a win-win for IAG and the community as a whole. Today's grant solidifies that Panama City Beach and our airport are an economic engine for the region. We are just getting started to show you all of our true potential. This project brings $107 million into our community, over 500 high-paying engineering jobs, which is just a huge benefit to our region, as we all know. And again, with Governor DeSantis' leadership, the state of Florida and Bay County as a whole have become the economic development hub. We look forward to the continued relationship and the continued support, and we look forward to a great day in Florida. Thank you all.
Okay, Chairman of the Gulf County Commission, Sandy Quinn.
Thank you, Governor. On behalf of Gulf County, I want to sincerely thank Governor DeSantis for awarding these job growth grant funds to our community today. The investment is a game changer for our rural county. It represents opportunity for our workforce, for our young people, and for the families who want to build their future right here at home. These funds also will help support the creation of approximately 450 high-paying jobs, trade-based jobs for the county of our size, and the kind of job growth is transformational for Gulf County. We are especially excited about this because it helps move forward the floating dry dock project for Gulf County. There's a clear demand for these services in our region. Shipyards in Tampa and Mobile currently have backings of approximately 10 months. So the Port St. Joe shipyard will help fill that gap, supporting vessels, repair needs, strengthening Florida's maritime industry, and aligning with the growth projected in the Florida Commerce 2025 Target Industry Report. I also want to personally thank Secretary Kelly and the Florida Commerce team for their guidance and partnership throughout this grant process. Their support has been invaluable to our staff. And finally, a sincere thank you to the Eastern Shipbuilding Group who came to Port St. Joe. Brendan DeSantis, who is with us today, for choosing Gulf County and for partnering with us on the floating dry dock project. Your investment and confidence in our community and our team is sincerely appreciated. Today is about more than funding. It's about momentum. It's about building careers, strengthening our economy, and creating lasting opportunity in Gulf County. Thank you, Governor, once again.
All right. Well, I think these are really, really good projects. I think it's going to continue to make a difference, and we're proud of what we've been able to do, particularly in Northwest Florida. We've done well. No governor's done more than me for Northwest. I mean, that's not even a question. I mean, but we had to, navigate the aftermath right when I came office of Hurricane Michael, and obviously we had COVID. Northwest Florida did very well during COVID because it was rational, and people were attracted to the rationality, and a lot of people lived here, vacationed here like never before, and we were happy to help facilitate that as well. But from an economic base, we've been able to see the economic base expand. When you start talking about some of the industrial projects that have been undertaken, some that will continue to be, throughout this region, it's really promising, and it's really, really exciting, and it's a great place, obviously, from the scenery and everything, and great community. So I'm just happy to have been a part of it, and we'll continue to do. We obviously are going to be doing more awards over the course of the year, and I'm sure we'll find our way back to Northwest Florida for at least some of those. Okay, do we have any questions? Okay, God bless everybody. Great to be back in Bay County. You guys take care.